Along with meal prep, a mandatory fitness routine, meditation and self-care, living on social media has brought upon us a whole new set of mandatory grams. Cocktails. It's not enough anymore to have a basic bar of rum and Diet Coke. From artisanal tonics to a whole menu of garnishes and bitters, home bars are getting fancier. Dining out spots are picked by the cocktail menu, not by the cuisine. A wedding is less about the food and more about the custom cocktails worked out to tell the couples how we met each other. So while the story of #Ash gets nagged cocktail name might be obvious, have you ever wondered about the peculiar cocktail names and where they come from? So lounge back and let us pour you the histories of your favorite drinks. Some invented by famous writers and others soaked in a bloodbath. First up, a cocktail that has been a rite of passage for every 90s kid. Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary may be a scary game for children, but for us bar hoppers, it's the lady in red of drinks. Who could have imagined mixing tomato, hot sauce and vodka could create such a flavorful concoction? But did you know that this drink with a mild burn has a dark past too? Legend has it that a restaurateur invented the cocktail in the 20th century as a dark tribute to Queen Mary. Queen Mary wanted to re-establish Catholicism as the official religion of England. During her reign, Protestant heretics suffered religious persecution and were burnt by the hundreds at the stake. Her brutal and violent acts earned her the dark title of Bloody Mary. By the way, did you know that Bloody Mary is referred to as hair of the dog cocktail? An English term used to describe drinks that lessen the hangover of other drinks, especially if you've been shooting Patiala pegs at weddings. Now, if you're wondering what's the story behind Patiala peg, here goes. Patiala peg. If you are a Punjabi and are known for your drinking capacity, chances are that you earned your reputation dunking down Patiala pegs and drunk dancing to Punjabi songs at a wedding. Patiala peg, considered to be a measure larger than the standard large peg, owes its origin to the legendary Maharaja Sir Bhupinder Singh, who ruled the princely state of Patiala from 1900 to 1938. The Maharaja lived life king-size, and his pride was his polo team that consisted of ace Sikh warriors like himself. Once he invited the Irish team called Viceroy's Pride for a friendly polo match of tent pegging. But the night before the match, both teams did something that would shock most sportsmen. They partied and drank. Whiskey was had to its full capacity by players from both teams. Next day, the Irish team woke up with the worst hangover ever. Obviously, their game was weak and they ended up losing. From that day, the Patiala team became famous for their drinking capacity and Patiala peg for being a fairly strong pour of alcohol. And if you're someone who can stand straight the next day even after many rounds of Patiala pegs, here's a cocktail that might slay you. No, not LIIT. You've never seen it on Indian menus. Death in the afternoon. The inventor of this cocktail is a celebrated author, one who is not only famous for his literary works, such as Old Man and the Sea, but also for his daredevil lifestyle. You bibliophiles got it, it's Hemingway. Ernest Miller Hemingway, aka the OG James Bond, has done everything from being a covert KGB spy to surviving 2 plane crashes one after another. And just like James Bond is famous for drinking a medium dry martini, shaken not stirred, Hemingway had his poisons too. During the 1930s, Ernest Hemingway summered in Florida's Key West and lived it up in true decadent fashion, skipping hours drinking, fishing, and getting into escapades that should be a primer for all millennials on how to enjoy life. It was during this time that the potent genius of Death in the Afternoon was invented, a bold mix of absinthe and champagne. And it had to be a bold one because the cocktail gets its bar handle from a non-fiction book of the same name that celebrates traditions around the gory and controversial Spanish sport of bullfighting. So next time, don't just drop fancy cocktail names, now you have interesting stories to go.